Today, Rinpoche explained the complete view of the Middle Way Consequence School and showed how that roots out our afflictions that cause cyclic existence. So Rinpoche is giving me the number where we are going to begin in the commentary in Tibetan, and then I can relay, knowing that, the next point. So, Ranxin Gayang me. De Lepson.
What the later, cousin?
Okay. Okay, so
Nelu the Shesuna and then Geshe Abu Gres Tombuji, Neba, Nebi Zawa Dube, Denzid Bombaina, and then Geshe Nebaje, Sumba Tuntu Geshe Tony Tusuna, and Deba Maruba and Geshe Sumba said what the day. Deba Maruba Shesuna and Deba Maruba and Geshe Sumba Nas.
Okay, so now we've reached then Tambo. Okay, the Tambo Nipa Sumba Yanjar Suranang, this Sumba, then the Tambo Dan Nipa, the Sumba, the
Nelu Dubing and Shijibu Tombore, Nelu Tony Rota, Tony Tambis, Tony Shibaina, and then Tombanila and Shijigres, Jingeungres. Tanya Bito Dube, Neshe Jesus, Nebito Denzi Marbe, Denzi Casuna, and the water de Mamaru and Neshe Jegro, Neshe Nibaje, Somba Tune, Neshe Jesus, the Mamaru Tusona, and the Mamaru and Neshe Jegre, Somba Dere, Somba Ne.
Okay. The Lago thing. Okay, so now we're, just for everybody, where we are in the English, it's going to be stanza number 16. Let me just double check that that's the case, but I believe it's stanza number 16, where we are beginning today. You taught that if any had the slightest inherent existence. Okay, 16. Okay, so yes, it is stanza number 16, where we are going to begin today. And it's actually in the commentary, we find that it combines with 17 as well. So it reads, because intrinsic existence cannot be negated, if phenomena possesses some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible, and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught. Therefore, who could challenge you, you who proclaim with lion's roar in the assembly of learned ones repeatedly that everything is utterly free of intrinsic nature? So this is where we are going to begin. And I have an alternative translation, so I'm just going to read the alternative translation of number 16 only. So just to see if sometimes it opens up your understanding of it in another way when different words are used. So you taught that if any phenomenon had the slightest inherent existence, nirvana could not be achieved, nor elaborations undone, because a self-existent essence could not be reversed. So that's the same stanza just translated by a different translator. So in this commentary, there are 3 sections, because this is the 3rd section. I unfortunately don't have it all in front of me, so I'm not sure if this is the 3rd of the entire basis. I don't believe it is. I think it's just the third category of one that we're within. But the first category was the understanding of emptiness. It needs to be understood in a stable way. So we finished that in the commentary. The second is that in order to one needs to get rid of what the root of misunderstanding is in order to conquer cyclic existence, and that root is grasping at true establishment. And the third category, which we're going over now, is that basically the fact that phenomena is not truly established or cannot be truly established is something that can't be negated. So this third category shows that it's the final thought of what reality is. Reality is not truly established. I think in our commentary it speaks of intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature, truly established, inherent existence. All of these are the just different translations of the same word. So when you hear me say it's not truly established, it's not inherently existent, these things mean the same thing. Those are two different words, but they have the same meaning. But sometimes we use multiple words for the same exact Tibetan word, and in this case, intrinsic existence. Sometimes we use inherent existence. So it's just the Tibetan to English that you just have to get used to and understand what the different synonymous things that are synonymous with various words around emptiness. So anyway, that was just as an aside. But we're in that third category that this is the lack of true establishment or the lack of intrinsic nature is the final thought. There isn't anything above it, and it's not able to be negated. Disa Rinpoche.
Tunda rajin gaya meba tunda la tende nyu naja tangji teba nis ta oma tangju lu je je na an chu tangji deba maru ba res rajin gaya meba dans ne je tu na deba maru cha rajin tu ba me bi cha rajin gaya yo ma res rajin gaya meba dans rajin meba dans deba maru ba ina ya tanye do ne le junde da ne taba tangji je ba lo so chama yo res de la tenen de nyu naja thaji tebanis junde la tenen naja thaji tegre daje la ten naja thaji tegres de la tenes daje dan tenden de la tenen ane le junde dan thaba thaji sembe naja la zo thaji tegres naja thaji tebani ne gewayo mares dema maruba dan thanye de yobal gewayo mares magendo Penjugos, the Kalejuna. Takanda Rajinga, Deba Marubares, Deba Maruba Inaya, Deba Maruba is a Meba Koju Mares, Deba Maru Sedula, Kanga Mes Koju Mares, Deba Maruba Inaya, Tanya de Yores, Legende dan, Tabatanji Chambers, Sama, and the Latin and the New Tended Tanya de Yores, Tended is. Deba maru tende imbe se tende duere se lo dijere. De la tende de yu naja thaji theba nyes. Ne ju la tende rebu thegre, daje la tende dachu thegres. Ne bhenju tune troba do chama thegres.
Da the nipa dajin la dene.
De la tende de yu son de la tende
mingda
daje la tende.
dajin la dene.
Daje sun da ngaso ngaso phombo daje marbe nga daje ro nga phombo tabaro daje phombo la tene nga sange de ro ta
Ale dupa dapa drapa due
taba dupa la tene
collection
taba
okay collection
de la tene de joyus
okay
daje phombo la tene ne tene nga sange de yores de joyu ne naja thaji de jula tene de jongwa jula tene de jongwa daje la tene da jongwa sama tegres deba maruba ina
lesso
naja thaji tebanyes.
Okay, so we're going to focus then on stanza number 16. Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomena possesses some intrinsic nature, nirvana wouldn't become impossible, and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught. And then an alternate translation, you taught that if any phenomena had the slightest inherent existence, nirvana could not be achieved nor elaborations undone, because a self-existent essence could not be reversed. So what does this mean? So we state that according to the middle way consequence school, which is the Madhyamika Prasangika school, the final school among the tenet systems, if it is phenomena, it is necessarily not intrinsically existent. If it is phenomena, it is necessarily not truly established. It is necessarily not inherently existent. So in the middle way consequence school, this is the statement, this is the assertion of the final view of emptiness. Now, this in no way negates existence. This only negates inherent existence or true existence. So one has to be able to see that something can be not truly established, yet still perform a function and still occur as a basis of observation. So it's the middle way school that teaches that things exist, but they don't exist in an inherent way because they dependently originate. We say that things come into existence in two different ways. We have a dependent origination that's through causes and conditions. So we have cause and effect that makes things occur and disintegrate, and then other things occur from those things. Just as a note, if it's a cause, it's necessarily a result. If it's a result, it's necessarily a cause, according to Buddhism. So, according to the Middle Way Consequence School, all things, phenomena, are not truly established, are not inherently existent, because of dependent origination. And again, dependent origination of causes and conditions, cause and effect, that makes something come into being, or dependent origination through establishment, it's called. And that is the coming together of a collection that then serves as a basis of designation to be named as this or that. So these are the two ways that we say things dependently originate. They dependently originate in terms of normal cause and effect. Causes come together and then a result occurs, or dependent origination through collection. And as a note, that second type of dependent origination applies to everything, even uncaused phenomena. So it's a coming together of a collection of things, then it is able to be named. But there is nothing exclusively separate from that process that can be found to be that thing that you're observing, that phenomena. Therefore, all phenomena, or that phenomena that you're observing, are not truly established because they either dependently originate through causes and conditions, or through collection and then this nominal designation, or both. So just to, as from a translator's note, I'm not saying it's one or the other. It can be both. But permanent phenomena doesn't have causes. Just as a translator's note, a permanent phenomenon such as uncompounded space has north, south, east, and west. So therefore, it still has a collection, even though it's permanent. So you can say that there's parts of it. Everything has north, south, east, and west. Even the smallest particle, you can find directions up and down of. So that's what it means. Dependence coming into being through a collection. That's what that means. It says, because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomenon possesses some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible, and elaborations could not be ceased. So if non-virtues were intrinsically non-virtuous and bad, they couldn't be changed into anything. They would always be If your continuum possessed something that was always some certain way, it couldn't be annihilated or changed. So nirvana would be untenable, not possible. I think that's everything that Rinpoche said. He said a lot, but the main focus is that things come into being through dependent origination, through interdependence, and that makes them not truly established, but does not in any way negate their existence or their function or their presence. Merely negates that they exist separately as something that's always this or that, inherently. Digso Rinpoche.
Da what the tende the ngaya Geshe wo tende that what the tende said kasana dan du ba du ma she dan du je samalo tende is logris tende
Tuche.
dan du je the tende kande sana nen debut jul tengro pugo the phamal tengro nen debut jul tengro jul ten ros jul ten robas junde debut jul ten ro jul ten chigro jul ten robaro tende jujel la tebe tende duje ina jujel la tebe tende juden debul temba res debul jul temba debul jul temba res ta oma tanju yu juden debul temba res debo ne
Ju Depo Den.
pogo de phamal temba rota pogo phamal temba yin phamal jiba imbeja
Yanjusunan? The Yanjusunan.
파말 자자바 있나 준디 파마다볼 자나 생제 파마니도 준디 보고도 파마니 준대로 파마 줘래 네 보고도 제부로
Leso.
보고도 파말 땡으로다
Ale. Okay.
땡으래 파마도 보고래 땡으래서
Leso. Mingida. Pugomena Pamayoma.
파마도 보고래 땡으래서 주생 가르서나
Leso.
보고 요도 파마리 자거마도
Leso.
파마 요고 말어서
Leso.
또 땡데디 하고 내고
Leso. So it's very important that you understand the meaning, of dependent origination. So if we're looking at a topic that when we look at I'm sorry, I'm starting to get the hiccups. If we look at phenomena can be divided into two categories. It can be divided into that which is permanent and that which is impermanent. And in this case, Rinpoche used the term compound or not uncompounded. And that basically means a compounded is impermanent, and uncompounded is permanent. So there's two types of phenomena, that which is compound and that which is uncompounded. So if we're looking at compound, which is impermanent, meaning there are causes and conditions to bring it into being, it's not permanent. So if we look at an example of compound phenomena, which is impermanent phenomena, we could use the example of parents. Parents are the cause of a child. So when we look at how is a child is brought into this world, we see that the child depends upon the parents in order to arise. But according to the Middle Way Consequence School, it goes further. Not only does the child depend upon the parent depends upon the child. Because in order for one to be named a parent, he or she must have a child. So the nominal designation of parent requires the dependence of child to come into being. So if there's no child, there's no parent. If there's no parent, there's no child. So we see the Middle Way Consequence School looks at dependence in different ways. Looks at dependence as cause and effect in terms of the parents are the cause of the child, but also the child is as the parents are as dependent on the child as the child is on the parent in order to be brought into existence. So in order for that term which becomes then an identity, child or baby and parent to come into existence, it requires both. So there's an interdependence there, not only in terms of cause and effect of making the child occur, but also making the name on those two people become parents, or father if it's a boy, or mother if it's a girl, a woman. But there is no naming of that without a child having been brought into this world in some way or another. That the Middle Way school not only looks at dependent origination in terms of this cause and effect in the straight line, but also in the fact that in order then for that parent to be named parent, they have to have had that child. So there's this interdependent play there as well. So this, with parents and children, this is the dependent origination through causes and conditions. This is an example of that. Nene? Ju Chen. The Tambo Yandra Suriname? Punso Dun? Punso Dun? Okay, Tuche. Lesso. So we see this relationship between parents and child, and we see that there is dependent origination in both cases. Therefore, we say that they are not truly established. They are not inherently existent. Parent is not inherently existent, nor is child inherently existent. Why? Because they dependently originate. And then we showed how. We just explained that. So it's been stated that one who sees dependent origination sees the Dharma. So the meaning of this is one who understands that this child depends on the parent and the parent depends on the child. One who sees this dependent origination then understands that things are not truly established. Understands this emptiness, that things have this emptiness. And one who sees this dependent origination, sees this lack of true establishment, sees the Dharma, sees the Dharma.
Deba marubi shebulu tege denzil nöno marbe. Taba druma yeme shebulu te drone julo nöno dos.
Okay. Then so when one sees this interdependence between parent and child, then one sees the lack of true establishment, the lack of inherent existence, the lack of intrinsic nature of parent and child. And if one sees this, then he or she sees the Dharma. Because the reason for this assertion is that it is just as, so the root of cyclic existence, the root of samsara or cyclic existence, is the grasping at true establishment. And the only thing that will get rid of grasping at true establishment is the correct view that things are not truly established. Just like when a mistaken view arises in a dimly lit room where you see a rope and you mistake it for a snake and you think it's a snake, the only thing that will correct that mistaken view is the understanding that it's a rope. So is the non-mistaken view of what it really is. So everything that occurs from believing it's a snake goes away right when you know that it's a rope. Likewise, the root of cyclic existence is the grasping at true establishment. The only opponent to that is the non-mistaken view, the correct view, the truth that things are not truly established. Things don't have intrinsic nature. Once one understands this, then that completely annihilates the mistaken view that believes the opposite, and then everything that it creates. So if it's the root of cyclic existence, it then annihilates the potential for it to occur further. So this is why we say one sees the Dharma if one sees dependent origination, because this is how one annihilates cyclic existence. Okay, Sopalasa.
다 파마다 보고 땡데 이미 주선이 대바 마루바 셰수나 대바 마루비 최통도도와 땡지 대바 중 통나 최통오스 대바 마루비 최통레스 최통오.
If you see this interdependence, this dependent origination between parent and child, then you see parent and child's lack of true establishment. If you see the lack of true establishment, you see the Dharma, because then every other subject has the same application of logic. This is the one thing I missed from the last point. Once you understand this about this one phenomena, you understand it about everything else, and it applies to all other things. So once you understand this parents and child relationship and how that is dependent origination, you can understand all other phenomena. Therefore, in summary, this understanding of the interdependence between parent and child leads to understanding the Dharma. Diksum.
다 파마다 보고 땡데 이미 주선이 대바 마루바 셰수나 대바 마루바 셰빌르 땡질 녀분도 그래서 에드다. example 네 타버 드 마이미 셰빌로 드진징 롤 녀분도 was. 그 칼레로 칼레.
Listen. So the way that this works is if one understands dependent origination according to parent and child. So Rinpoche is going to use this over and over again, so because we have an established subject we understand. So that's the reason this is going to occur over and over again, because we've established its relationship. So if we have this dependent origination of parent and child, and we then can establish the lack of true establishment of this phenomena, we can apply it to all others. So then we establish the lack of true establishment of phenomena, which is the antidote to the mistaken mind, mind or awareness that grasps at things as being intrinsically existent, or as having intrinsic nature, as being truly established. So that correct view is the antidote to the incorrect view, which causes samsara to occur, which causes cyclic existence to occur. So it is the truth of dependent origination and lack of true establishment, which is the antidote to the mistake that our mind makes. And it's the same way that in a dimly lit room, if we saw a rope and we thought, if our mind mistakenly thought it was a snake, the only thing that would change that mistaken mind would be the understanding of that it's not a snake, it's a rope. So in the same way that mistaken mind is annihilated, the grasping at true establishment is annihilated. Digsa.
What that junila ten jujin la ten is what in Jimara. You say they are Maru Sudo in the road.
So this is an example of the dependent origination of causes and conditions. So we have these two types: dependent origination of causes and conditions, dependent origination through establishment. The first one, causes and conditions, refers only to impermanent phenomena. This is an example of that and how one understands that type of dependent origination.
다 조전라 때문에 된데도 파마도 보고 보자는 셰바 예상 윤리 상만도 큰 잡선 당시에
So if you use this, just to clarify, if you use this example of the parents and child, then you understand this, then you can apply the same understanding and you can understand all other dependent origination through causes and conditions. So this is specific to dependent origination of causes and conditions. So if you understand this parent-child relationship and how that is interdependent, then you can understand all other causes and dependent origination through causes and conditions. 네네.
신살이 제버래 사단신 덴데 말베 덴데 이미주세 대고 말고 어떤 잡은 강을 큰데 말베
신살라제 네네 사신구 구구말
사단신 표주 덴데로 대만 말고로 든 잡은 말베 파마도 보고
the yineng triwa yure rimbache the pugo mena pama ming yomare shin mena sa yure Shin mena sa yure pugo mena pama
시던 산이 덴데로
dende
신살이 제버로
lesser.
신살이 제버로 네 대만 말고버레스
Okay.
어떻게 산다 말베
So we can look at it in this same way when we look at, for instance, other things that are causes and conditions, other things that arise in that way. So, for instance, a tree arises from the ground. So we see these causes and conditions. We see this dependent origination. So what I was asking Rinpoche was that if that example is similar, because if there's no child, there's no naming of a parent. If there's no tree, there's still a ground. And but the ground from which that tree grows from depends on the tree to be established. So that's how you muddle through that. But anyway, so you see, we can apply the same understanding of causes and conditions and dependent origination to earth and the earth the tree grows from and the tree. Diksun.
다 파마 보고도 조전라 때문에 된데래 라나 그 다질라 때문에 된데레스 파마도 보고 수수 풍벌라 된요로 풍벌라 되는 조바 이상 다질라 때문에 된데레스 조전라 때문에 된데이나 다질라 때문에 된데 차스.
Okay, so then now we move on to the dependent origination through establishment. Now, this if it's dependent origination of causes and conditions, it's necessarily dependent origination through establishment. So we can show this kind of dependent origination, just as a translator's note. Trying to stay within Rinpoche's words, and I've just got to go out of them a little bit. And I just lost it. Dependent origination through causing. So when we look at things that dependently originate through causes and conditions, they are necessarily dependent origination through establishment. So this is the translator's note. All impermanent things are come into being through causes and conditions. They also come into being through this establishment. But permanent things only come into being through establishment, not causes and conditions. So we say that, so that's why we're focusing on this example we were using before, but there are some phenomena that are only fall under the category of establishment, and that's anything impermanent that is permanent. So right now we will get into that, but I just want to do an aside explain that. But we're sticking with this example right now. So of course, parents and child have dependent origination through establishment, and that establishment is this collection that comes together. So a child and a parent have aggregates, have 5 aggregates that then come together, and then we name on top of that. It becomes a basis of designation that's suitable to be named child, suitable to be named parent. So this is how not only is it dependent origination because of causes and conditions, it's also dependent origination through establishment, also called sometimes dependent origination through collection. Decent. It's a looser translation, though, when you say through collection. It basically just explains what the real word means.
다 파마도 보고 다질을 때문에 땐데 힘이 주선지 대마 마루 시그러다. 준데 힘이 주선지 대마 마루 주선이 니도지. 땅다니.
So we can say there are two correct signs that we can give. We can say that the parents and child dependently originate through causes and conditions and dependently originate through establishment. We say they dependently originate through establishment or collection because they are not truly established. If it's not truly established, it's necessarily dependently originates through collection. And if it's dependently originated through a collection, it's necessarily not truly established. Diksun.
다 파마도 보고 땐데 힘이 주선지 대마 마루 시불로 되게 덴질 넣는 말봐. 엔드다. 타바 드마이 시불로 덴질 줄로 넣는 것도
The Tambo Yanjer Surinlan Gongame Pachik.
타바 드마이 시불로 덴질 줄로 예번 것도 엔드다.
Lessa.
이거 전에 밤마다 보고 대마마도 시빌 댄데 힘이 주선이 대마마도 시빌로 되게 댄진 당 댄진 바샤르는 말봐.
Oh, okay, Dendel.
댄진 당 댄진 바샤르는 그래서
So the way that it works is that understanding the parents, the dependent origination, understanding using this example of the dependent origination of causes and conditions and establishment of the parents. The way that this works is that it serves as an antidote or an opponent to the imprints of the grasping at true establishment that we've had over lifetimes. We have these imprints that we've created over and over again of grasping. And what this does is the understanding of dependent origination eats away or erodes those previous mistaken concepts. That's decent.
다 댄데 힘이 주선이 대마마도 시빌로 되게 댄진당 댄진 바샤르는 거. 댄진 바샤르는 거도 댄진당 댄진 바샤 봄베 산지 여버고 갈레고 말베. 댄진 대번 중앙 통나 추 대진시버 통스 워딩스 말베. 댄진 대번 중앙 통나 추 통스 대마마도 통주지. 댄진 대번 중앙 통나 대진시버 통스 대매도르 댄진 바샤르 냐버네 대봄베 산지 여버도 고용 거래서 대진시버 통스
Sanjay Yoba Go?
통그레 고그레서
Go.
시그레서
She. Oh, understand. Okay. Gutso. Tuche. Kogamebachi. So we say that it's for this reason, because the understanding of dependent origination brings forth the understanding of the lack of true establishment of phenomena. And then the lack of true establishment of phenomena serves as an opponent to the mistaken view that grasps at phenomena as being truly established. So we have this mistaken idea that is grasping all the time at things as being truly established. And when we apply the reason of dependent origination to phenomena for being not truly established or not inherently existent, then this reason is the antidote to the grasping. And if one understands this, if one slowly gets rid of the imprints of the grasping at true establishment, then one slowly begins to see the Buddha or understand the Buddha. So one who understands dependent origination understands the Dharma. He or she who sees the Dharma sees the one, the Tathagata, it is said, sees the one thus gone. So sees the Buddha. So the meaning of that is that this transformation takes place of mistaken view into complete non-mistaken view, and then complete non-mistaken view at all times is held by the Buddha. So then we have that same potential. and the same destiny, if you will. And so that's why it says we see the Buddha. It doesn't mean in literal you'll meet. It literally means that what the Buddha is about. The Buddha is about getting rid of the afflictions. How do you get rid of the afflictions? Through correct view of the lack of true establishment of phenomena. So you see the Buddha. Just as a note, this is just a representation of our own potential. It's not a deity that we worship. It's what we can become if we know this phenomena are not truly established, then we have then we know what the Buddha knows, basically. So we see the Buddha. So it's not literal, and when that statement's from I don't remember what text, but it says he or she who sees dependent origination sees the lack of true establishment, or sees the Dharma and sees the Buddha, sees the Tathagata. So that's the meaning of that. Geshe Rinpoche.
Tapana te tonyu duba ta den do marbe. Bana shinchu just lobahina. Shinchu jin de mama rude den de yimbe je ta go marbe. Te ta to den de marbe. Bana shin da bu jin de mama rude den de yimbe je.
Shin
ta chujin ka zun che marbe.
Dixon, yeah, Shin Chu Chen. Demo Madrute Dende
yimbe je no de shin de mama rude ta da yin se den de.
Less so. So we need to, in order to establish emptiness, lack of true establishment, phenomena, the lack of true establishment of phenomena is that phenomena is emptiness. So when we say emptiness, 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 we're just talking about this book's emptiness is this book's lack of true establishment. This book dependently originates, therefore it's not truly established. So that's its emptiness. So just as a translator's note, when we say this word emptiness, it just means that the thing's not truly established, so it's empty. Empty of true establishment. So that it's not empty in the term. That English word is so loaded, and that's why I try to explain it. It's empty of being truly established. It's not empty, not there. It just means it's empty of having this true essence we think it does have that it doesn't. So emptiness. So Rinpoche set up what's called like a syllogism, a subject, a thesis, and then a sign or a reason. So he said the subject, tree, is not truly established because of dependent origination. So we see the subject, which is a tree. We see the thesis, or the statement about it, that it isn't truly established. And then the sign, why not? Because it dependently originates. So we have to rely on correct signs in order to establish emptiness. Diksung Rinpoche.
Ta shin chue demo maru tende yimbe shisana. Shida mai tel len karjagras. Shida mai.
The Shedama,
Gewa tan maru bas. Geta to sol sombare.
Dama Drew.
Ne ta maru so len delres.
Shedama Dama Drew.
Gewa tan san geta tende yina. Demba drobi chas again to the ta. Shida ma len geta marba. Shida mai tende yina demba drobi chala dro.
My
chas demba drobi chala dro. Tende mai demba drobi is.
Oh, Demba droopy. Okay, Demba drooping.
Demba maru tende yimbe is na shida ma len geta res ta.
Okay,
Gewa tan
less so.
Geta res.
Less so.
Maru bad so
Contradictory sign.
Shuru bal maru betan da res. Shuru bal tende yimbe is ta maru long res ta. Gewa tan maru ta maru so.
So now when we say these things, the subject tree is not truly established because it dependently originates, who asserts this? So if we look at the varying tenet systems and we look at non-Buddhist schools, we would say that some say this isn't correct. So for instance, the Vibhashika school, the Great Exposition school, says that it's actually a contradictory sign. So the Vibhashika school says that the things dependent origination proves its true establishment, basically, that it's functions so it's truly established. So the lower schools actually use the sign that the higher schools use to prove their point. So it gets subtler and subtler is the point that I'm making as a note. So the Vibhashka would say that it's a contradictory sign. But then a non-Buddhist would just say that that sign's not established at all. They would say that there is not this dependent origination. This isn't the way things come about. So a non-Buddhist might say that this whole thing isn't established, whereas a Buddhist would say your sign is contradictory to the logic. So it would depend on whose thesis it is when we look at facts or what are perceived as facts. And as a note, the highest school, and all schools agree, is the middle way consequence school, which, if Rinpoche is not noting otherwise, is teaching from. So Rinpoche is always teaching from the platform of the highest school unless it's noted otherwise to make a comparison, which is right now he's doing. Decent. So if you think of all of the possibilities of dependent origination, then this will allow you to truly understand dependent origination in total. So as a note, this is why we look at things that are incorrect, because those are things that we might think of and we might ourselves, so they're negated before a wrong view is a chance to even come up. So we looking at all of the points of dependent origination and possibilities allow us to truly understand it. Decent.
What the Rajin Gaya member than the Latin news, what the tending down that tending to what they are.
So,
Rajin Gaya Shinchu, Rajin Gaya member in the tending in Beasis, the Latin in the news, Daji Latin in Jews, Eugene Latin in Jews is Laguro.
So here, this is actually a correct sign. If we look at stanza number 16, it's actually just a sign or a proof that's being given by Lama Tsongkhapa. You taught that if any phenomena had the slightest inherent existence, nirvana could not be achieved nor elaborations undone, because the self-existent essence could not be reversed. So this is the consequence to the incorrect view. So if you're saying that phenomena has even any bit of inherent existence, then nirvana becomes impossible. So here is a consequence to a wrong view that Lama Tsongkhapa is pointing out. So we find even in the Buddha's words in the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge, where it says seeing the five skandhas to be empty of nature. So here the Buddha has asserted himself that the five skandhas are empty of nature, empty of, here, the slightest inherent existence. So the Buddha stated this, but this in no way means that the aggregates or any subject is not existent. So if things can be established by valid cognition, they are existent. So it's not saying that they are existent, it's saying that they are not inherently existent. So this is the point that's being made by Buddha in the Heart Sutra and by Lama Tsongkhapa here in the Praise. Ikson.
Rajinga meba dindela den ju naja thaji raji ji maduba ina ya ne junde da an sama thegres naja thaji thebanyes raji ji maduba da naja thaji thebal geoyo mares thanye de yobal geoyo mares mangendo pheje guyos keja she guyo mares gege mares deba maduba ina ya thanye sama yoares geoyo mares Mangedo Mechegu.
So here in stanza 16, I'm sorry if I read before out of the book, because intrinsic nature cannot be negated if phenomenon possesses some intrinsic nature. Nirvana would become impossible and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught.
Magedo Amejigu, Tenen Yu Jusenji, Tatawala Matenshi, Lesundane, Gwen Chuji, Pawalana maybe Jos, Jilmaji, what is Hanjige, Tending Yimi Jusenji, Tatawala Matenson, but there, Sanjik Sunlana Mabajiris, Yajujiris, Lesundane, Gwen Chuji, Shajaman Boda Chuji, Pawalana maybe Jo. What is good water? Shajaman Buddha, Tendi, Jusenji, the Omar was on Shabbat, what the Tendi, Jusenji, Tata, Matenson, but there, and the Shadagi happened to us, the Leson Dene, going Church, Shajaman Buddha Church, how Lana maybe Jaws, Chu, John and Gadam was soon without what the song they are should is, Lana maybe Joe.
So. Okay, so now I'm just going to read 16 and 17 together now. So Rinpoche is now combined. Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomena, and then I'll read it out of here. I like the translation of 16 a lot better in this. For my own mind, maybe others find the other one easier, so I'll read both. Because intrinsic nature cannot be negated, if phenomena possesses some intrinsic nature, nirvana would become impossible and elaborations could not be ceased, you taught. Therefore, who could challenge you? You who proclaim with lion's roar in the assembly of learned ones repeatedly that everything is utterly free of intrinsic nature. So here the alternate translation. Therefore, you taught that if any phenomena had the slightest inherent existence, nirvana could not be achieved nor elaborations undone, because a self-existent essence could not be reversed. Therefore, who would dare challenge what you taught so often and so well? A lion's roar amidst a throng of sages, the complete absence of self-existence. So very similar. But it's saying here that who could challenge you? This is speaking of Buddha Shakyamuni. In stanza 17, Lama Tsongkhapa is saying, you are unchallenged. Buddha Shakyamuni is unchallenged. The idea that everything is utterly free of intrinsic nature cannot be negated. So therefore, there is no challenger. So it's saying Buddha Shakyamuni remains unchallenged because the truth that everything is utterly free of intrinsic nature cannot be negated. So it's been challenged, but it's never been able to be negated. Truth, when something is true, it can't be changed. It's truth. So what it's saying here is that because it is final truth, there's no challenging it because it can't be negated. And so above here, it's showing the consequence to thinking that something could possess even a slight intrinsic nature, and that consequence would be that nirvana would not be possible, and therefore it's saying here that because what you taught actually gets rid of the things that cause cyclic existence and no one else has, you are left unchallenged. So that's it. I think that the Kanga decent.
That when the Tabaji sang what in the shade you do, Chu Kangi Tinto, Rajin Gam about that. Chu Kangi Tinto, the Maji Chu Kangi Tinto, Rajin Jubagam about the Rajin Gam about dance. Chu Kangi Tinto, never to do Mares.
Chu Kangi Dendo, Duje Dandumaje?
Kangi Tinto,
okay, all.
And then Rajin Jubagam, your Mares, never to your Mares.
Okay, Rajin
Gam about dance. Rajin Juba Meba Yina, ndala tenen denyu tanyen do jundala tenen dreben denyu she shawala soba naja taji tenen do joba rajenga ndala tenen denyu naja taji tebani so den debadre doa tanyen damba maruba inaya tanyen do jundala tenen dreben denyu she shawala sobi naja taji tenen do joba yene gawayo mares mangewa maze jidu so jindu songbe nes dema maduwa shibulu dema ane tende shibulu truje gre tende tubulu deme tubulu truje gres jidu jisundu songbe na hen jindu tamme chang jigude mangendu me jigus jijila ndorwa Nesos, what about the Jiju Jana?
Dudu Shedane, Tanye, Duju, they don't agree. Tanye?
Rajinga, Mabatan, the Latin, the news of the Rota. Tanye Dusana, Dema Marusana, Tonto Meba. Tanye do Kundu Diabasuro, Kundu Diaba.
Ale.
Tanye Diaba. Tanye
Ale. Okay. Ngate Sampa. Tanye. Ngopo
Rajinga,
Dandag.
Mabatan, Ngopata, the Kundu, the Mashi, Kundu Tajil Gogorota. Tanye, Kundu Dembal, Kundu Demba.
Conventional. Okay. So now we get into Junu Jetsun Drapa Shidrup's commentary on this. And just bear with me again, there's no English for any of this book, so we're just doing it. And so what it's saying here is that no matter what phenomena you approach, so it's saying whether it's compound phenomena or uncompounded phenomena, any phenomena that you approach, you will not be able to find any that have some sort of intrinsic establishment or intrinsic establishment. So this is non-existent in even the smallest amount. So any phenomena that you look at, you won't find this at all. And then it's saying, but this doesn't in any way make it so that things don't work, so that the causes and the results that rely on their causes and function and so forth suddenly do not because of this lack of intrinsic nature. So it's saying that even though things are not truly established, not intrinsically established, they still work and they still conventionally perform what they're called, basically. So a pot work, as the translators note, a pot you can make tea and hot water in and so forth. It's really there. It's just not intrinsically established as pot. So just going back to that. So saying that this does not get rid of then the functionality or the cause and that the results depend on and so forth. This is merely saying that these phenomena, no matter what they are, have in no way any intrinsic nature, any inherent existence. Okay, let me get Namsha Tamshe. So yeah, it doesn't. It working is not mutually exclusive with it being dependently originating and not having intrinsic nature. Rinpoche, the chitro su chitro, they don't agree.
Demba maruba shibelu dan tende tubelu ni de chig chil roshi gres. Demba maruba tubelu de tende shibelu roshi gres.
Okay.
Can you trouble this true?
Okay, so I see chitrosu. Okay, so then it says that these minds which see the Dendel Dan Demba Madrupa. Okay, so the mind that realizes dependent origination and the mind that realizes lack of true establishment become concomitants of together. There's one's there, the other's there, kind of thing. So this, if one has the mind that realizes lack of true establishment, and one has the mind that realizes dependent origination, these minds are together. They're concomitants. Then Lenchi do Ruang so.
한지 돈 도와 담현저 저거
Yeah.
냥 권인양도 지질 도시벌 때는 거요 말해서
And to say that these two, Rinpoche, the low knee, cheek,
뒤지도 용어로 뒤지도 one time.
all at the same time. So these are occurring simultaneous occurrence. Okay, so with these two minds have a simultaneous occurrence. Usually we say that anger and love don't occur simultaneously. So this is an occurrence where we have a simultaneous occurrence of mind. If you have a mind that realizes, not just kind of gets it, realizes dependent origination, you simultaneously realize lack of true establishment. So there's a simultaneous mind that takes place. Okay, Diksung.
다 저러면서 라진가 매바다 시비 대 콩가바르스나 싫어니 볼래 놀래 동반이 조소 졸래 동반이 제마이스 자와 싫어래 간시 땡주마 간시 땡진데 반중와 간 된 동반이 도시 되니 주시 다바데 되는 오밀라이 노스 코니 정도 코니 싫어니보다 자와 싫어니 정도와
So then this commentary says, where would you find these points that are being made about the lack of intrinsic existence and so forth? It said-
Zod tombares, debatu tombares, mebares mares, tombani zosos, debatu tombi zod zores. Tombani zoso. Zole tombani gemai, tombani le chazo gemai. Zod dans zod deba madubani ngoji bares, ngoji ba. Chudan man reba tabares. Ngoji bares.
Less so.
Ngoji ba inji mai.
Less so.
Oden logo marbeta, yisare.
So we find two places that these points are made, among many others, but that Junu Jetsun Drapa Shidrup uses two examples. One is from the Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge, and the other is from the Root Wisdom text by Master Nagarjuna. So the first is from the Second Turning of the Wheel of Dharma by Lord Buddha, and it says that what's quoted is the part that says form is emptiness, emptiness also is form, emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. So it's not quoted in its complete form. Hold on.
Shirani bolo zo tombao, tombani zozo. Zo tombao tonton demba dengo marbe. Zo tombao. Tombani zozo zo kunzo demba tendrota. Kunzo demba. Dembani. Zo tombao tonton demba. Tombani zozo kunzo demba. Kunzo demba tonton dembani ngoji res. Zo le tombani jemai. Tombani le jan zo jemai nos.
Then tombani zuso. Zu tombao, tombani zuso. Tombani zuso.
Zo tombao zo de tonton demba je.
Dundan demba.
Tombani zozo kunzo demba je. Tombani zozo. Zo le tombani jemai. Tombani le jan zo jemai no son de. Zo demba maruba de ngoji bares. Zo demba maruba de ngoji bare. Zo demba maruba zo demba ngoji bares. Zo le tombani jemai. Tombani le jan zo jemai no.
Then tombani zuso dundan demba. Then tombani gunzon demba. Gonga mebachi. Zu tombao dundan demba. Okay, selpola. So when we look at, there's an omission. You can't see it, but if you look at the commentary, there's just two sentences that are basically just referring to the Heart Sutra, saying, just as the Heart Sutra says, emptiness also is form, form is no other than emptiness. It just kind of like, just as it says this, emptiness also is form, emptiness is no other than form. Just as it says this, but what Rinpoche is saying, if you look at the actual Sutra of the Heart of Transcendent Knowledge, it says form is empty. So that first statement, form is empty, is referring to ultimate truth. And then where it says Tomani Zuso, emptiness also is form, this is referring to the conventional existence. So when we look at conventional and ultimate existence, these are simultaneous occurrence. So something's conventional existence and its ultimate existence are always there. I think they say two sides of the same coin. I think it's, and also Rinpoche made the example of when you put milk and water together, they become of one. So when we say form's emptiness, we're saying that its ultimate reality, its ultimate nature is emptiness. But the Rinpoche, Garishene Tomani Zuzo Gunzo Demba, Garishene. Tomani Zutomba o Dundan Demba Selbuldu.
Tombani Zuzo,
Garishene
Tanya
Gunzo.
to Zu Yoris, Zu Meba Maris, Zu Demba Maduna, Zu Yoris. Tanya to Zu Kundu Demba de la Wood, Tombani Zuzo. Zu Tombo, Tombani Zuzo, the content, not Demba to Kudu Demba Tendre, Zu Tomba on Sudi, not Demba Tengore. Tombani Zuzo on Dieu, Zu to Kundu Demba is on word.
So this emptiness also is form, is showing that there's also a conventional reality of the form. So it's saying that form's ultimate existence is empty, but form also has conventional existence. And that's why it's saying emptiness also is form. So what form is, it's just two sides of the same coin. Form is ultimately not truly existent, but it's conventionally existent. Its conventional existence doesn't mean ultimate conventional existence. It's just saying that its conventional existence and its ultimate existence are occurring simultaneously. Its mode of subsistence is conventional and ultimate at the same time. So hopefully that didn't confuse things more. So this quote from the Heart Sutra only says two lines. So all it says is emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form. And Rinpoche is explaining form is emptiness. Emptiness also is form. So you don't see the Tibetan in front of me, so it maybe isn't making as much sense as it should. Now the next quote is from Nagarjuna's root wisdom text. Danjing the Sao Sherab. Danjing dewa zhongwa gang deni tomba ni. So less so, drar.
What the Geshe Lharampa what the Tenje Imjusen Deva Ruba to below the Omilan is Omilan. Then they Imjusen Deva Ruba Shebelo to Omilan is, then the Omilan in us. Don't need to be lying is Omilan's a
Okay, so the root wisdom text basically says that this arisal through dependent origination is how you understand or is the understanding of emptiness. So it's not truly established because it dependently originates. So it's saying that a thing's arisal through dependent origination is understanding a thing's arisal through a dependent origination is understanding its emptiness. And this is the middle way view, and this is the path of the middle way, meaning the tenet systems I was saying before. The middle way consequence is the highest view available. So this is Nagarjuna is saying that this is the view of that school, of the highest view. So this is the Umi Lam. This is actually it says this is the path of the middle way. Sorry. So this is the path of the middle way. Deni Jor Je Dapa De Vidonagare Rinpoche. Deni Tomba Ni do this elbow do.
Deni mi jusin Devamadu Shibulu Dele, Deni Jushe Daba des, Jusun Azu Cheche Jui Seni Sad Marbe. Jushe Daba des, Tony do Deni mi jusin Devamadu Shibulu Dele, ne Juse Sanji Gumuntu Jo, Tabat Sanji to be Juse Meta is, Jushe Daba De. Then Tony to be Shero, then Omi Lai knows.
So it says something about that this nature, we'll have to look it up in the root wisdom text. But it's just saying that these two natures are the pith of the middle way path or something. The fact that the arisal through dependent origination and the understanding of emptiness, these two are the middle way pathway, the understanding of the middle way path. So, something along those lines. If we end up taking a break, which I don't think we will, and then I have to run right out, root wisdom text you can find with a commentary by Tsongkhapa in English. Oxford group, Ocean of Reasoning is the name of the text. It's very hard to read if you're not a great scholar, which I'm not. Dene.
Jupa?
Umajupa, okay.
Umajupa les, Gwenyan Zembajuros.
Leukagi.
Going at that Jumbato, Gwenyan Zembajuros, the Motel, going at that Jumbato. One person, Shea Taji Lugo, Shea. Shea Taji to go to the never knew you are as Candace you are going at that. And that to near not them by J, Jumbato near there. Kundu Dembares, Mogun Yada, Jumbaton, Many Wonian Zebajuros, Chetanji Tinto, Yada Tony Nedun, not Debatan, Jumbaton Nedun, Kundu Debani, Yores, Mogun Yada Jumbaton, Many Wonian Zebajuros, what does it down to water?
Leukagi Rimche.
Omanjuba, Sanji Juba, Sanji Juba.
Ngoni Zinbar Shetan. Okay.
Yanda to the Bari, Kundu to Kundu de Bares, Zumbato in it. Mogun Yanda Zumbato, many one in Zebajuros. What the Don.
So in the entrance to the middle way by Master Chandrakirti, we find a quote that says that basically all phenomena. Here it is. So that all phenomena have both this conventional and ultimate existence. I won't be able to get the exact quote from it, but it's saying that all phenomena are empty and both have this conventional and ultimate existence. Okay, Diksum Rinpoche.
Dijingobotaje Tonaya, Tony Tale Road Jonjuro, Shesumba Tarosa. Mobu Chitaji Debatu Tonaya, Tony Tale Road Jonjuro, Debatu Tumba Ledene, Julian Debichiwalas over yours. Julie Zukan, Deva Maruba, the Deva Julie Java, yours. Jawan Juro, Shesumba Taro,
So one is able to see how arisal is possible with this union of conventional and ultimate truth. I really wish it wouldn't even take long to find it, but it's in the entrance to the Middle Way by Chandrakirti. Bene, Shesung.
Shesumba Taro, Mobo, Shesumba Taros, Mobo churches, Shajamun Buddha church, Chuna, Dandi Dan, Shabat Dujinanas, Ranki Jujan Latembi, Dandi, Dujikala Jujan Latembi, Dandi, Jundi Imbezer, Jujan Latembi, Dandi, Jutanji, Dadan, Jendan, Nigatan, Jumen Jibu, Kanronle, Joanzibi, Tanzinji, Tawa, Maten Wonsa, Tatawa, Maten, she said, Redua. Mabuchi, Chuna, Tendi Dan, Chabatun Duje Tangenes, Duje Galo, Ranki Jujan Latin and Jutanjes, Duje Jujan Latin Juano, Jutan and Jutanje. Jujen Latin and Jutanji Dalimaje, Jen Limaje, Nika Limaje, Jume Limajewa, Taji Kanrun, Dalimai, Jen Lime, Nilimai, Jume, Mabakanda Kana, Joana Yomais, Zawashero, Chuju Mogu.
So here it's saying that we're using the reason of dependent origination, and in this case, for instance, with a sprout of causes and conditions to show how things are brought into being, or how things are established. In the beginning of the root wisdom text, Nagarjuna says that things do not arise from self, from other, from a combination of both, or causelessly. They arise through dependent origination. So here it's saying something very similar, that that all phenomena dependently originate, and that and in the case of things which are caused, they rely upon their causes and conditions in order to occur. So this is the reason why we say they are dependent, because they rely upon the causes and conditions for their arisal. Okay, Diksun.
Da Shajaman Buddha Churchi, Duje Tanji, Tendi, Jutanji, and Dal Majesagre, Jen Majesagre, Nikal Majesagre, Jumel Majesagres, Dal Jesagre, Tranche Marbe, Tranche Dal Jesagro, Duje to Dal Jes, Jen Jesagre, Raju Majemarbe, Nikal Jesagre, Chebuba, Jumel Jesagre, Jampero, Jampen. Duje Tanji, Tendi, Jutanji, Dal Maje, Jen Maje, Nikal Maje, Jumel Joanzi, Tanzila Matens, Tangmaris, Tatawala Matensis, Lebasomba, Gomu Church, Shajaman Buddha Church, Pawalana Mabijures.
So what we're negating, so what is being
negated?
So what is being negated here is that things arise from self, from other, from a combination of both, or causelessly. And where the way we're saying things arise is through dependent origination. And who is expressing these alternate views? So we can look at the varying ancient Indian non-Buddhist schools, as well as some Buddhist schools for the negation. When we say, when we say how they arise, we mean like ultimately arise. So if we say they arise, the ones who believe that things arise from themselves are called the Drangchenpas, the Sankhya school, or in English, I believe it's enumerators. It's what most yoga schools follow in terms of philosophy, is the Samkhya school, the enumerators. And here the belief is that all results are in their cause. So things arise from themselves. So this is the belief of the Drangchenpa. The middle way, the next is that, so that's the who believes that things arise from self. Who believes that things arise from other, from outside, are the Rangjupa, the middle way autonomy school of Buddhism. So this idea that things don't arise from other negates the middle way autonomy school. So things don't arise from self negates the Samkhya school. Things don't arise from other negates the middle way autonomy school. And then things don't arise from a combination of self and other negates the Jain tradition, the naked ones. So the Jain tradition believes that it's from both, from itself and from other, and then it arises. And then that things are causeless or that are uncaused negates the view of the nihilist school. So we see how each of these things, negating things arisen from self, other, both, or causeless, negates actual views that are asserted according to philosophical systems. So this is why those potentials were negated. Okay, Diksung Rinpoche.
ngaba masi nyagu juwares sabu ju du wo de de bu yus la de ta ngaba mi tonggo yo marmado sabu na lo nyagu juwares nyagu hobo du juwares sabu na lo nyagu hobo de mena sal da nyagu che was na lo nyagu mena de kanas che ngures ta sabu na lo nyagu juwares rai si na lo le de nyagu juwares tangjen wo de ke marba.
Bless you. So the actual Samkhya school's belief was that, for instance, a sprout, where does a sprout come from? Well, according to the Samkhya school, they state that the seed already has the sprout in it. Somehow the result is already in the cause, and then it is already there to occur. And this is why a rice seed doesn't grow corn, or corn doesn't grow rice, because the result's already in it. So this is the explanation of the Samkhya school of why they say that the result is in the cause. Dene?
What the Jugu does never do ever in us. Not to mount Ant Marbe. And the Lambuchi Jajawa and Ant Jilla, and the Lambuchi Jaja Nubaja. What the Truman say Tumal and Zivis say Tumal Lambuchi Jayo with us.
Less so.
Chasus and the Lancing Jas. And the Tangol Jabis, and then Truman the Lambuchi Jaja Nubaja.
Less so.
Say Tumal the Lambuchi Jayo with us.
Less so.
The non impatient of Kamar. Chasus and the Lancing Jar. And Honsuma don't hear the shit. That's a Transition Shule. Transition than what does it home to the Lord that. Dromante and the Tsai Simon and Zevi said, no, we'll launch a jail with us. Launch a judge in Nubaja base, Nubaja the launching in base of the town.
Less so. So we find a negation in the Pramanavartika Karika by Dharmakirti, where it says that then if this is true, if the result is contained within the cause, if an ant is going to have 100 lifetimes as an elephant in the future, does that mean that there are 100 elephants standing on a blade of grass right now? So this is what Dharmakirti says, that are there 100 elephants on that grass standing there that the ant's standing on? So this is one of the negations that are made.
Then kala na lo tuba yo ta stan ro ta. Kul de ta na ma do ko mi zon lo ma ro da. Ani chon kala sa tuba sa se za ma zon sa wan jus.
So the next question is when we look at food itself, when you're eating your food, are you eating feces? Is there feces in your food already? If that's the case, so these are more consequences, that if a cause is in its result already, result is in its cause already, is the bread already feces? So then these kind of debates embarrassed the Samkhya school, and they left. This is ancient Indian. Just as a note, there was a place called Nalanda in ancient India where all of the different systems came and debated, and the ones who were, held the view stayed, basically. And so this is what he's referring to. When they debated, they weren't able to logically hold their view. So the word is tsa, means your view has been broken. So as soon as something is illogical and is broken, then there's nowhere to go from there. That's just a couple examples, too. There's probably a book this big about how it's negated. Oh, okay. Sashele. Jepo.
Shebo lela ten she le sheba po le sa ken ke mate ne le ten res. Shebo lela ten she le sa ken sheba po mate kanza de le ten res. Lela ten she le jan sheba po de ten res. Sheba po ten la ten ne jo ma to ba. No bi jun ma to. Ten de ma imbi le jun de yo ma res. No bi jun ma to she son ba tabu de. Tenzin la Tabi Tenzin ta Chibi Tenzin Tenzin la ni yores Chibi Tenzin ta Tabi Tenzin ni le juni mes da suna Chibi Tenzin jiro da jong ha shi me le juni me o ta ba ina Chibi Tenzin chedal ro da Chibi Tenzin Tenzin da chuno de ba tu da tu o ta suna and tatawa Tabi Tenzin. Yoba tawa de imba loje. Yoba tayo loje na meba tayo loje ni de lodreta.
Ale, the ni. Yoba mepa, ale.
Yoba tayo loje na.
Okay.
Meba tayo loje.
Okay, tuche. The ne lung dets kali couple do the jepo, the le saken, la dene jishing.
Shebo lela ten she le shebo bo le sakin mate le ten res te ten ro le men le sakin shebo bo
okay. Then le sa
le shebo bo de ten res.
Okay.
Shebo men le sakin homa ro.
Okay.
Ten la ten yo ma do ba do bi ju ma tong ngos le sakin le shebo bo le ni bo de pensu de no jo res de ma do be le sakin bo yo ma res.
This Sawashera.
Okay.
And then we have another quote. I wish I had time. I want to know from the Root Wisdom text by Nagarjuna that says that in order for someone to accumulate karma, there has to be karma. They have to have karma to make them engage in karma's action. So there has to be a karma making them create karma. So karma here is dependent upon karma, if we look at it in that way. So it's just showing another way that dependent origination occurs. How in order for someone to be accumulating karma, there has to be karma there for them to be that's propelling them to accumulate karma. So it's just showing how this is established by dependent origination, and it shows how this accumulation of karma is dependent upon the accumulator possessing some karma to accumulate. And hold on, I wrote something down that was really important, and now I can't remember. Oh, I see why. I see what I'm doing. So, that's why I'm messing up here. So when we look at grasping at, okay, so there are different extremes that people grasp at. So there's the grasping at the extreme of nothingness, so nihilism, that there is no karma, there is no result, there is no Four Noble Truths, there is none of that. There is no cause and result in terms of virtue, non-virtue in their results. So this is one extreme. The other extreme, so that is of nothingness, and the other extreme is of substantialism, is that believing that everything inherently exists and is solid and singular, instead of having this nature of collection. So these are two extremes that these points are made to negate. So negating the idea that things arise from themselves, and showing how how things could arise from themselves, other together or from nothing, and within those four concepts there are the two extremes: the extremes of nihilism, nothingness, and the extremes of substantialism, an assertion of some sort of solidness. So that is it. Okay, Dixon. Chikshena. It's So this text is so important. We're going to probably end here. We didn't take a break. So this text is very important, and it's important that you read it every day. You do it as a prayer. This would be considered a prayer in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So you read this every day. And by doing so, your understanding of it will get greater and greater to the point where you'll completely understand it. But it requires a lot of work because it's such an important text. So if you can do this in your prayers, then it would be good because it's such an important text. So then we'll end there. We'll do the concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer, and then we'll do the thing quickly. I have to go to work right away. Today's one of those days. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the three times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. Pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak. holder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, the spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts, exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche, Gutsi Shapi Denon.